Hi guys, this is Tracy, the Diva with Inside Pool Magazine. Hope everybody's having a great time. I have my co-host here, Nick DeLeon, the Nikon Kid. We also have a special guest tonight, and this is Justin Martin out of Wilmington, North Carolina. He was recently in Puerto Rico, kicking it back with some of those pros. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Justin? He was
Yeah, yeah,
recently
we
in
had a
Puerto
great time.
Rico,
Myself and my
kicking it
friend
back with some
Katie
of those pros. Can
were
you tell us a little bit
with
about
me.
that, Justin? He was
Yeah,
recently
yeah, we
in
had a
Puerto
great
Rico,
time.
kicking it back with
It
some
was
of those pros.
nice.
Can you tell us
It's
a
kind
little
of
bit
like
about that,
um,
Justin? He was
yeah,
recently. Are we getting feedback?
I'm getting a double echo.
yeah, me too. I'm having a tough time.
It's on your end, Diva. I'm getting a double echo.
What is that?
It's on your end, Diva. Do you guys have extra screens open?
I don't.
What is that?
It's on your end, Diva. Do you guys have extra screens open?
I'm pulling everything.
I don't.
It's on your end, Diva. Do you guys have extra screens open?
There, did that work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
All right, sorry guys for watching. We just had a little, technical difficulties, but our lady, the Diva, has figured it out. So let's get back to Justin with the questions that was
One
asked.
more time, Justin.
Oh yeah, so we had a great time in Puerto Rico. It was my first time. It was interesting, I know it's a U.S. territory, but things were quite different down there. I mean, not to really get into the politics too much, but just the whole vaccination status. Like you had to have a vaccination card or a negative test to go inside of any public establishment. But we had a great time. We were really too busy to enjoy any of the things that people would go to vacation for in Puerto
Right, you were
Rico.
there to work.
Yeah, yeah, but we had a
So
great time.
basically, when you got on the plane and boarded, since Puerto Rico is part of the United States or a territory, you didn't necessarily have to be vaccinated to get on the plane to enter into Puerto Rico.
No, so you didn't have to have a vaccination to enter or to get into the establishments, but if you didn't have a vaccination, you had to have a negative PCR test within 72 hours of the date of trying to enter any establishment.
Right, right. So coming
We had
back into the United States, did you have any issues coming back into the United States? Did you
no,
and Katie have to quarantine?
no. It was actually easier to get back than it was to get in.
Oh,
Actually,
wow. Cool, cool. Nick, do you have any questions for Justin Martin?
I'm actually a little familiar with him. He was out here in Arizona last year, right?
right? Yeah.
Okay, so um, no, I mean other than his Fargo is definitely higher than mine. Um, but it's great to see more young players out playing and not just hitting the local events, but hitting the top player like events with all the top champions. So it's good. It's good to see. A lot of people have that strive of like not going out and just sticking where they're at. So it's a totally different level of playing field and getting out and playing and testing your game against the top players.
Absolutely.
So it's good. It's good to see it. And it's awesome.
No, I appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Before we move forward, but Melinda Mike said that if we want to bring him on or if we want to get him on later, he's up for it. So
Well, if he wants to come in now, he's more than welcome to. Do you know how to send the link?
no, you want to message him on Facebook?
Tell him I will send him the invite through Facebook, sir.
Are you familiar with the Mr. Knit, Justin?
Yeah, I am. We've met a handful of times. Mr. Knit.
I'm making him a jersey. It's gonna on the back of it. It's gonna be say the Mr. Knit.
What's the story behind that one?
So this is a funny story. Last year, I've been dealing with him online, and I finally got to meet him at the Texas Open last year, and
Right.
we kind of teamed up and did the Calcutta. I forgot who we were bidding on, but I told him, "Hey, I got this. I got our guy. You just chill," because he was doing all the bidding.
Right.
So I'm like, the guy's all, "Hey, 50 going once." I go, "Okay, 100, 150, 200, 350," and he went to go get a drink. Came back like 5 minutes later, and we're at 350. And, the guy has announced, he's all, "Hey, it's a steal. This guy should be going for like 600, 700. I'm like, "Oh, my God." I go, "Please, we don't want to split that much money." So we're sitting there. He's all, "Going once at 350. You guys need to get on it." And then going twice. And Molina Mike stands up. He's like, "Dude, 450. And I'm like, "We're bidding on the same person." I go, "We already have him for 350. He's all, "Well, I was just trying to make a statement." I go, "You're paying that $100. And he's all, "No. He's all, "Worse." I go, "No. I go, "You knew who we were bidding on. You went to go get a drink. You came back and sat next to me, and you bidded an extra $100. I go, "You're taking that out of your pocket."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then he was trying to get me to do it. So I was like, "You're such a nit." And that's where it all came from. So,
Poor Molina Mike. You guys are awful.
yeah, but he's a blast.
Justin, question. What do you think about Earl being replaced?
Oh, I mean, I was.
You
really
went through it going to Puerto Rico, so I'm just curious as to what your thoughts are about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the guidelines or whatever their rules may be a little bit different, but politics aside, I was really excited to see Earl play. I also think it's pretty evident that there should be alternates, that should, make the trip as well. I think this is evidence of that. But, Jeremy's a great player and capable. So I'm kind of excited to see how Jeremy performs.
I agree. Totally. Nick?
I mean, he even said in his interview, after they won the team event, that he was really nervous and very but I mean, he made a really good out for being 4-inch pockets and different colored cloth and the conditions, because he's normally on the sidelines, so
Right.
he kind of got forced into playing, and I'm pretty sure he held his own. He just needs to get comfortable, and once he's comfortable, I feel that his game will come along, especially in the doubles, because I feel like that's where you're more than likely you're going to win than in the singles. Like that, your doubles put together team, like David and them and Shaw played great. I mean, they were both in the same sync together, and they played really good, other than a couple of mistakes by the U.S. team.
Right. I mean, and it was a short race, things can, like a few rolls that go one way or another can really, be a deciding factor. Like the break was also not really cooperating very well today either. So
no, but I also was talking to Miss Diva that with the tighter pockets, when you go tighter pockets, it's not just your play that you have to be more accurate with and more precise with, like ball pocketing, but on your break, you're going to make less balls because the pockets are shrinking. So normally where those balls hit to go in, they're actually hitting the points, or they're hitting a different angle where they're not going to fall like on a 4.5-inch pocket.
Yeah, I agree. And Neil's brought up a good point too. It's the first day, and the balls are being racked on brand new cloth, and basically, the table is not trained as much as it will be on towards
day
the end
3.
of
Yeah. And that's what we experienced. Not to switch subjects, but when we played the Predator event in Arizona, it was the same thing. The balls were not the 10 ball playing racking 10 ball. Even with the template rack or whatever they had, the balls weren't reacting because of the clock being new. So once we got broken in by day 2, by day 3, then it started reacting differently. And I think that's what is going to happen.
Right. Yeah. The balls were much easier to rack, and you were able to, just get more towards a more repeatable action.
Yeah. I mean, like Diva didn't watch a lot of it, but what do you think about USA's performance over Europe's?
Me?
Well, you didn't watch that much, but to
No,
Justin.
I was involved in many of my other endeavors that I have to do during the day.
Because I thought the team event was a really important point to get right off the bat, especially with Jeremy Jones just adding to the mix.
Right, absolutely. It gives them momentum once they get started. I feel, especially for Chris and Tyler, at that moment for them to get that point for the United States, that definitely did something for the boys in general, especially the younger ones on the team.
Yeah.
You have the rookies like Skylar and Shane Van Boning that they're used to that grind and all of the noise and everything else. And Chris and Steyer, they're still learning to deal with that. And I think they did a fantastic job. Personally.
No, I think they did too. I mean, it's just the meshing and the getting comfortable, with the different color cloth and the 4-inch pockets. So
right. And then there's that. I mean, I've never seen the gray felt on anything live before. That was a first for me, and it was different.
No, for sure, it was definitely different.
Sorry, guys, my phone was about to die.
It's okay, Justin. We're not going to keep you much longer. This was a rough test run for me and the NikonKid here. We'll get much better with it, but we appreciate your time, and we look forward to watching you on your tour. Where are you heading next, sir?
I appreciate it. I'll be headed to Florida this weekend for the Mucci Classic, and then there'll be a little break in between. Now, there's actually a New Year's event here in our hometown, so we'll be playing that, and then we'll be off to the Derby. So
fantastic! I look forward to seeing you at the Derby this year, Justin. That'll be round 2 for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, have
maybe
a good one.
Time both of us will get some sleep.
Yeah, and thanks for jumping on.
And we appreciate you doing this for us, Justin. And good luck in Florida, and I will see you at Derby City.
All right. You guys have a good night. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Did Melina Mike ever get back to you?
I have not. I sent him the invite, sir, but no Melina Mike just yet.
No. All right.
But we may just sign off for the evening, and we will pick this back up tomorrow. What do you think the spread's going to be tomorrow?
That's gonna be tough because it's all about comfort. Like USA started off really good, and then Shane had a couple bad scratches that cost him, and of course, Filler making that snap on the break after. Shane makes an incredible out to tie it up 1-1.
Right. So, well, I mean, when you think about it, those two powerhouses, that's going to be the talk of the town, really. I mean, Filler is hitting them lights out. And the man's on fire. And Shane is just have to dust yourself off and pick yourself up and keep going.
Yeah, no, correct, and that's the same thing with Skylar and Jeremy Jones losing the doubles because I mean Shaw and David played great
flawlessly. From what I heard, flawlessly.
Yeah. I mean Shaw went with this for this 3-rail kick, clipped the 1 ball, made the 8 ball on the side. So they're playing really good. It's just that you can tell that the table is really sliding and accepting balls really well. It's just that once you get into day 2 and possibly day 3, the table is going to play a lot tougher.
Right. I'm assuming those lights don't help much either. with all the lighting that's bouncing off that table, it's pretty much going to heat the table up, and it's going
Correct.
to make it worse.
Yeah. So it's just going to be, it's just getting comfortable. Jeremy Jones, I feel that it's going to be very important for him to at least steal a point or two tomorrow or in day 3.
I think Jeremy will catch his gear. I think
Yeah,
he'll
that's
find
what I'm
his
saying. Yeah.
spot. He'll find his sweet spot. He's got to get those jitters off.
Yeah, because that's what he said. He said that even in the team event, he's all very, very nervous and very it's nerve wracking being out there. But he got out on a tough out, and it was really good to see. And you saw, Shane Van Boeing and Skylar and Chris and Tyler all giving him high fives and smiling. So it's good to see their captain, win a game or two here and there. And then once he kind of gets rolling, it'll kind of be back.
Right. The morale seems like it's there. And as long as we keep cheering and try to have some type of, I don't know, I just feel like everybody's being so negative about it. And I understand that it hit the United States hard that Earl was was removed from the team. But I don't know what the government rules are in the UK, but I will try to get some of that information from Mark or Raj Handal if I can get in touch with Raj and find out exactly what it entailed for him to be removed. I get it. It's a government thing. It's nothing to do with Matchroom, and we just need to learn to be patient and give Jeremy his chance.
No, I agree, but I mean, there's nothing you could do because, let's say, for instance, that they wanted to bring in, let's just say Oscar Dominguez because he's been on the Cup before, right?
Right.
But there's so many days you have to quarantine. You can't just fly in and then play, right? You have to be quarantined with their laws on in Europe, right? So
right.
It's just one of those things that it just kind of got hit with a bad roll, and Jeremy jumped up, and it's just everybody's going to pick everybody up, and that's what you have to do in a team event. Team event is totally different than playing singles or doubles.
Right.
I feel like when you have more than 3 or 4 or 5 people on a team, you guys all have to pick each other up when the other person falls.
Right. It's just like anything else. You got to be family for just a couple of days.
No, correct. I mean, even with Tyler and Chris, Chris missing that 2 ball. You saw Tyler over there talking to him. You just have to, just don't let it get to you. Everybody's going to miss, especially on the 4-inch pockets.
Right.
Just like Jason Shaw said in the interview, everybody's going to miss. Everybody says, oh, that ball should have never went in because the pockets are too big. Well, now they're tighter. Now you're still going to see some go in because of the newer felt. But as the time goes, with the table being played on so many more hours and so much more time, the table's going to play tougher. So those pockets are going to get tougher. It's not going to just give like new felt is going to.
So as it progresses, it's just going to get more difficult.
Correct, and you have to be more accurate.
I have a question from one of our commentators, from one of our chat people here. Penguin wants to know, what is your opinion, Nick, being a professional player, on the gray cloth? And will it be more difficult to adjust to? Like you said, it's going to get worse as the time progresses. But what is your opinion on the color of the cloth? Does it help for visual purposes?
I've never played on gray. Yeah, I've never played on gray felt. The only thing I have experience with is going from green to blue or blue to green. It's very difficult when you go to a bright table, which is blue, and then you go to a dark green table or the old felt. It's very difficult to see the ball. So I think the lighter the cloth, the better you can see the balls. And I think that's what was behind Matchroom and everybody trying to
for
change
broadcasting purposes. It's for viewing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that too. But the players, I mean, from what they said, they think it's good for their eyes to see the ball better. But I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I haven't played on it, but everybody's stuck with playing in the position, whether you like the size of pocket or you like the color of the felt. It could be pink. Like we have to play. Each team has to play on it, so
right.
They're just getting used to it.
From what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, their practice tables are color coordinated for each team. Like the Euro team has blue felt and the Americans have like a red felt. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's a rumor that I heard. I will try to check in on that. Would that cause problems going from practice table on one color going to the event with it being another?
I feel that the only problem that you'll have is your eyes adjustment wise. If you're practicing on blue, like for instance, on a red cloth, if that's what it is, right? Their practice table is red. Going from red to gray, it's going to be better, in my opinion. Like you can hit balls on whatever color felt you want to, but when you go to a brighter table or a lighter color, I feel that it's always easier to see the edge of the ball better.
Right. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with going into the country, do you have any Mr. NikonKid is getting married here in a couple of weeks, which is the
Yes,
reason
I
why
am.
he looks in his attire. He's been working on the house all week. You're planning on going to the Philippines. Are the restrictions just as hard in the Philippines as they are in the UK? Is this something that's worldwide, or is it just the UK that's having that issue?
I think everybody just has their own rules.
Each
Like I know,
country
yeah,
would have their own
because
entry.
correct. Because like the Philippines, I know they had a complete lockdown. When you go in, you have to be quarantined for 10 days, stuck in a
Automatically.
hotel, can't do anything, and then after that 10 days, I guess you get tested or whatnot. We're just waiting for whatever to get lifted, so we can go and I can meet her family and everything else. But I just feel that everybody has their own like rules on how it goes. So it just I don't know if he didn't know or if he didn't read the rules or what happened with Earl, but it just sucks that he's from what Shane said is that he's been practicing nonstop and getting ready, and they did those awesome interviews talking about his game back in the day and how it was so great and like how they looked up to him, and then this happens. It's just a curveball, and then now Jeremy Jones has to fill those shoes. So
right, it's very unfortunate after all the controversy of having Earl on the team to begin with, and then here comes another knife in an already open wound for Mr. Strickland. I'm curious to know if he's going to have to stay in the UK for the whole 10 days, or is he going to be able to fly back home?
That's a good question because we were talking about it earlier with my buddies, and we were talking about it, and I'm like, man, I go, is he stuck there in a hotel with nothing? Like he can't go out, he can't do anything because he's quarantined because of the person on the flight.
Yes, Penguin. Penguin asked, will we be able to give updates on scores, etc., over the course of the event? NikonKid, Mr. Nick DeLeon, will be running the helm on that, Penguin. So if you go to Nick's professional page and he will give you that link for that, then you will be able to get any of those results, sir or ma'am. Nick,
Yeah,
it's my
Facebook fan page. It's Nick DeLeon, NikonKid, and I've been posting everything since it started this morning, and just play by play, pretty much like the inning score of the team event. It was great to see, like I said, Jeremy Jones get a win, and his team was really stoked and excited to see that. So I've been trying to update as much as possible, and then we're doing this as well. So we get to talk, and hopefully some fans jump on and they ask some questions or want to talk about a topic that happened or something like that. I mean, I know Tyler made a hell of a one ball jump shot with the safe that they played on him today during doubles. And unfortunately, Chris, missed the 2 ball in the side pocket, but it's tighter pockets. So it's very, very tough.
So what we would like to let you guys know, anybody that comes into the chat, if you want to ask us questions, we will be more than happy to answer them. If you have questions that we cannot answer at this time, we will try to answer those at a later date. We want to make sure that we're interacting with anyone that comes into the area, so that we know that we're trying to give back to the fans that love the game of pool. That's the reason for us doing this podcast to begin with. we want to include you guys so that you know that we do care, because we do care. Without you guys, we don't have anything to do when it comes to pools. So we need you guys to let us know what we're doing wrong. If there's something that we can do better, that's what we're here for. Penguin says, I love to travel for work, so I was hoping you guys would be, I travel for work, so I was hoping you guys would be live and able to update. I can listen to it in my car. We'll do what we can for you, Penguin.
Yeah, we're trying to go live after the each day of the Cup. So talk about, what you guys want to talk about, what we seen today and what the struggle, like Kachi. I was really shocked on his performance today. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody has those bad days. Everybody has those bad moments. But he had some really critical errors against Tyler and Chris today. And I was very shocked at some of the missing balls that he missed today. But,
Right.
I mean, a champion is a champion, but, they also do miss. So you just have to roll with it.
Like with Van Boning today, that was unfortunate. It's very unlike Shane to not bring that A game, and it showed today. Penguin asked, are you just doing the podcast for the event, or will you continue after it's over? Big fan of Inside Pool Plus. We love you too as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to try to keep this going if we possibly can.
Yeah, we want to cover as much as we can. With both of us traveling and whatnot, it's just this works out better for us to get online and talk about what's happening. Big pool matches, big events that are coming up. There's a lot coming up. Oscar Dominguez at Hard Times with Desiree, they're having a big event at the end of the month. They're doing 1 pocket and they're doing 9-ball. And then right after that, you have the Predator Series that's starting in Arizona and Tucson. So we're going to try to help and jump on and cover as much as we can and fill you guys in, and whatever you guys have any questions and want to talk about, we're here to talk about.
So basically, Nick's going to cover the west side of the United States, and I'm going to cover the east side, and then we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, have a good chat, and hopefully you guys like it. If you guys any concerns or any problems or whatnot, comment, send messages, whatnot. We're just kind of winging it and getting it going so we can at least get more people talking about everything with pool, trying to get it to more explode more than it is now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Corbin. We appreciate it. We really do. Thank you so much. Corbin says good work. Penguin, NikonKid, what's the next tournament that you're going to be at, sir?
I am heading to Hard Times, Oscar Dominguez and Desiree place at the end of the month. Doing 1 pocket and 9-ball, and go out there, have some fun, get to play some pool, and get to see some old friends that I used to live out in Sacramento a couple years ago. So it's going to be fun being back and get to play against some really top players, because Oscar Dominguez and Hard Times, they bring nothing but good players in that room. So
fantastic. I haven't seen Oscar in a while since, I think, wasn't he at Iron City for
no,
one?
he was just at for the Turkey 8-ball, was it? He was just at Griff's for the Turkey 8-ball.
I've been seeing his name on a couple of those rosters.
Yeah, so he's been playing
his thing. That's for sure.
Yes, he has. How did I get my nickname? Oh,
thank you for that, Corbin. I was about to ask him that myself. How did you get the nickname NikonKid? I'm gonna have to divulge how I got mine.
About 10 years ago, probably, I went to Montana for a big 8-ball tournament, and I do photography as well on the side. So I do pool players, I do families, I do weddings, I do pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I love taking photos. So I was out there with my camera equipment, and I was taking photos, and I was having some fun. And I went to go play in the tournament, and I was doing really good. And the guy that I was staying with is like, you know what? Like, we don't like your name. We're going to call you NikonKid. because you shoot with Nikon and, you're kind of young at the time. They're like, this is what they even stuck with. And then once I came back to Arizona, it just kind of stuck with me and everybody heard about it. And they started just calling me that. And I'm like, well, how do I get away from that name? So it kind of just stuck with me.
Also, Diva, how did you meet Nick? Okay, that was an interesting story. If you guys have been following my articles here lately, I have been writing a lot more on the players. I started out a year ago writing about the venues that I was going to. Iron City Billiards out of Birmingham, Alabama, asked me to come out to their very first event. I walk into the place and I sit down. There is this guy with this hat on, and he has this flamboyant shirt that says Q-Tech all over it. And I'm trying my best to look around him. I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and I'm not a short girl. I scream across the room and say, hey, you, how much did you pay to have your name put on the back of that shirt? He turns around and the biggest smile ever. And he says, I don't know. They just gave it to me. So that's pretty much how Nick and the Diva got together, and we've been inseparable since. Best friends, best high chew friends ever.
Yeah, high chew all the way, high chew.
Any thoughts on Jeremy Jones's performance? South Texas ass.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and I was looking forward to watching him play. Since I haven't seen him play in a while, and
the last time I saw him play was in Texas, and he did very well. I mean, considering Jeremy doesn't play as much as he used to, and he had this whole thing going on with the Mosconi Cup, and the coaching. He just doesn't have the opportunity to practice as much.
I feel that his big win was in the team event to take a 3 or 4-1 lead. I felt that he made a really good out, and even afterwards he said he was really nervous, and you could tell he was nervous, like just by like shaking his head or his arm movement or whatnot. Like you could tell when somebody's really nervous at the table, and it's just from him not being in that spotlight. And it doesn't matter how much money you've ever played for or how many big tournaments you play for. This spotlight is one table, and you're meant to get that point, and it's so hard. And
you're on the stage all by yourself.
Yeah, and for him to get out and make that win, and then I know he struggled a little bit with Skylar, but that's just going to be once he gets comfortable with the table, and then he's just going to go right into his normal speed and his normal conditions of how he plays.
With everything going on, and this is just a woman's opinion, with everything going on, and I'm sure men don't think about this as much as women do, but with Earl being removed and everything happening so quickly within the last 48 hours, that had to take a toll on him in general, being the coach and everything. That's a lot to have to handle, and having to play as well. I mean, that's a lot of stress on a person.
It is, and not just that. It's not like he's playing 24/7 like Shane is. It's like he gets out, he plays a couple tournaments, and he does hit balls or whatever. But I guarantee he was not hitting balls before this event going in, because he's all, I'm the coach pretty much. I'm going to sit back and help my guys out.
His job was to make sure that they were ready.
Yeah, and then now he had to jump in the box.
Now he's jumping in. It's a lot. That's a lot to weigh.
Everybody has to take that in consideration. I mean, it's just some stuff like this happens, but you have to look at his shoes and go, okay, like he's not playing all the time, like Shane is and like Skylar is and all. So he's just jumping in and filling that in because he has to. So it's a little. I feel like it might be a little bit more stressful for him because he's like, he doesn't play as much. So he's like, I feel like it's double the stress because he's like, I need to get this point. I need to. So I feel like it's just a little bit more stress for him. But I feel like he handled it really good today.
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to sit there and say, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. But until you're putting that position and it's you having to make those decisions, it's a little more stressful. South Texas wants to know, who would you say is the MVP for today, Nick?
Today's tough because, Europe, even though being down 2-0, Europe played really well. Ocean played really good. Shaw and David played really good. You also got Tyler and Chris that finally kind of connected and they took down that doubles.
They clicked very well. I heard.
Yes, they did click really well, and like you could see that they were actually talking to each other, and they weren't just sitting there and going, "Okay, who's shooting the next ball or whatnot." It's very good chemistry that you need when you're playing the doubles. So, it's so tough to say who would be the MVP for me today. But I could just name out the people that actually played really well overall today. And then hopefully day 2, we see more of that.
Right. South Texas says, do you think JJ should have waited to play on day 2 or 3 to get more practice in? Or do you think it's better he just got his match out of the way and that way he's not under as much pressure?
I feel that he needed to get in the box right away. If it was me and I was getting thrown in, like say I got a phone call, I'm like, hey, I have to come play. I want to jump in right away because I want to get that environment underneath my skin. I want to get the nerves out of the way. And if you lose that point early, it's better than losing that point late when you're down 8-5 or
absolutely. I'd hate to know I was the one that lost it.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'd rather be put in that pressure and have all that pressure and all those nerves right away than waiting when that point matters that you need that point.
Right.
Like I feel like going up 2-0, Shane Van Boeing was in a free will, as you can speak mode because we're up 2-0. There's nothing to lose. Okay, you lose. They're only gain a point, and we're still in the league going into.
Right, it's relieving some of the pressure off of our American Superman there, our Captain America. It's taking a little pressure off of him. I agree. Does the Diva actually play? From Corbin, and if so, what advice would you give to fellow pool players to improve? Corbin, about 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, which has left my eyesight impaired. I'm no longer able to see the edges of the balls. When the light's coming down on top of the balls, I'm seeing like massive halos. I can probably play for about 20 minutes, and then it's just over. I end up with massive headaches. But for me, what advice would I give? Practice, practice, practice. Any moment you get the opportunity to play a player that's better than you, play them. It'll be the cheapest way to learn. My thing was I ran around with Jonathan Hennessy for about 5 or 6 years. I've known the man for over 15. He threw me in the box every chance he got. That was the only way I could learn. And I used to get the jitters really badly. So I believe what Nick is saying, the best thing for Jeremy to do is just jump in there and get it over with. Because once you get your feet wet, it's a cakewalk after that. Let's see. From Corbin, I would say Filler or O'Shawn for MVP on day 1. Nick, what do you think about that on that side of the coin?
Yeah, it's good. Filler took down Shane, but like I said, it's a race to 5. Anything can happen. It's more about for me to pick MVP. I have to see at least into day 3, maybe day 4 to see who's playing well all together. Because Kachi didn't play that well when we expected him to play really well. Ocean did really good. Tyler did really good. Chris got back into that role again and then started, getting in line with Tyler. So it could be really anybody's game, but the team that I feel that really clicked out of all of them was Shaw and David. They've clicked really well together.
Fantastic. I look forward to seeing getting the opportunity to watch it after it's all over with. Unfortunately, my job does not give me any free time. South Texas says, who do you think will be the fans' choice? I think SVB and Shaw.
I think so too, because last year, you remember the interview before the press conference. Shaw and Shane were kind of going at it. Shaw kind of did some digs, and then Shaw was the MVP. So that might be a big show right there. I thought that was a big one with Filler and Shane.
Right.
So
I agree. that's always been a slight rivalry there between the two. I remember years ago when Shane and Alex Pagulayan had that rivalry. It was
Yeah.
a joy to watch, especially at Derby City. You'd see Shane and Alex in the action room going at it all night long
Yeah.
on the table. It's you can't discount that South Dakota kid, man. When he's on fire, he's on fire, and he
Yes,
doesn't give
indeed.
up
No,
at
he does
all.
not. And I have some Earl. I agree. I told people once they made that choice, I said he might be the one that puts Europe on tilt. Like I just really do. Like one being everybody looking up to him going in, and he's playing really well. Like and then also like some of the verbiage that he kind of gets into a little bit, and I just feel that sometimes that mix just kind of blends together. And he from what Shane was saying and a couple others is that he was playing nonstop for a while and not a lot of people knew about it, and he's playing really good right now. And it's a shame that we can't get him, and this unfortunately happened to him for it.
And
So
for his age, the man's in incredible shape.
yeah.
I mean, if anybody can go a long stretch, it's Strickland.
Yeah.
Even at his age, I mean, come on, the man can play.
No, it's totally true. It's absolutely it's crazy. I mean, at his age, I mean, it's great. I mean, I love the videos that they put together talking about Earl and leading up to it. You're already like after the players and the captains and everything are talking about him. It was really good. You're like, man, I want to see him perform. I want to see him get in the mix. And this happens. You're just like, oh
It was extremely disappointing.
yes,
Extremely. Not only, I mean, it was devastating for Earl, but it was very disappointing for the United States and probably most of the European fans because they were looking forward to seeing what could possibly come out of Mr. Strickland's mouth during a match.
right.
Um, South Texas says doubles. They think this person thinks that it'll be SVB, Woodard, Shaw, and Filler. What do you think?
I like that mix. I really do. I like Shaw and I like Filler being the pick, and then also, I mean, who else are you going to pick with Shane Van Boeing? Other than Skyler, they have so much history together. They played so many doubles,
Right.
the worlds and all that stuff. So I'd be shocked that if it wasn't Shane and Skyler.
Fantastic. Let's see. Corbin asked, "Who do you think the fans' choice for doubles is going to be? If you were the person to pick, who would you pick, Nick?"
It's going to be tough because on Europe you have three players that played really good together, right?
Right.
And I mean, that played really well overall day one, and it's going to be one of these three together. It's going to be Filler, Shaw, or it's going to be Ocean. Like those, those are going to be teamed up. However you look at it, and I feel like that should be the team's choice if it was me. For the other side, the USA, you have to go with history, right? You have to go with the performance and the people that click. Like I was really impressed with how much Chris and Tyler clicked today, which was great. But I guarantee you, everybody wants to see Shane Van Boeing and Skyler play together.
Right. I think you're right. What about the rack? What do you think? What do you think about these magic racks that they're using versus the old wooden racks? I mean, are you old school or are you up on the times with the magic racks? I'm a magic rack girl because I can never get those dang balls to freeze for anything.
So I'm a hit or miss. I like it. Whatever the term it is how I'm going to play. Like everybody's using the same rack. Everybody's using it. Excuse me. You just have to figure out how to do it, like how to work with it. And I don't think it's really the rack. I think they're tight and they're getting the balls tight and everything. It's just that the felt with the new tables and the tight pockets, they're not going to make as many balls as they were last year on the break because of the fact that the pockets are tighter. So whenever the balls are hitting, when a 4.5-inch pockets, those balls, that wing ball has to hit directly in that pocket or it's not going. And so basically, you're pretty much playing the one ball in the side pocket more than the wing ball, because the wing ball has been hitting right on the point or a little bit before it or after it, and it's not going. So it's just very tough when you go to 4-inch pockets when you're breaking. That goes for 10 ball as well. I mean, it makes a big difference, not just on your play of running out, but in pocketing balls, but their break is huge too.
Personally, I like the fact that it's a little more difficult. I mean, these are champions. Each one of them is a champion in their own right. Reinhold's been traveling overseas here lately, going to different tournaments, as well as, you know, the Europeans. That's what they do. They travel and they play in
Yes.
some of these more difficult tournaments. I think personally, the more these boys get the opportunity to travel overseas to play some of these top players, they will eventually get better. As far as, you know, I like the fact that the table's tight. I do, because that gives us something to watch. I don't want to watch them all running out. One side, it being one-sided. It's boring.
No, totally. And Alex Pagaline actually has been saying it for a long time. And if you go to my boy Joey Ryan Pool Player Podcast and look up Alex Pagaline's interview that he had with them, he said that if the pro tour of any sort tighten their pockets and make them 4-inch pockets, you're going to see a totally different champion, and the best players win these events, because the tighter pockets makes a huge difference when you're playing rotation. South Texas. We talked about the gray felt. It's just everything's different right now. Going from tighter pockets, changing the color of felt. Your eyes have to adjust to it. Yeah, it's a lighter color than the blue is, but you're both playing on it. You both have to get used to it, and it's something that's new, and we're gonna see if they're gonna stick with it for going into next year, or they might change it up. So, but it's just something that the players all have to just adjust to.
Penguin asks, do you think we will see in the future some women pros coming back to play again in the Mosconi Cup?
So out here in Arizona, we have which it's called we have similar to the Mosconi Cup, but we have 6 players. So we have the Swirl Cup. We do the east side of town versus the west side of town. There's a Fargo cap, but we on the 6th player we add a woman player, and it brings so much more to the game, because the women, man, they could come with it and they could take away some points. You're like, oh my god, what just happened? And it's exciting. And then same with, we have Arizona versus Vegas that happens every year, and we have a woman that's on that team as well. And I just feel that adding a woman could extremely just change everything with being part of the Mosconi Cup.
Hill Brothers comments says, should be a separate Mosconi Cup for the ladies. I agree. I think the women should have their own. If the men have theirs, I think the women should. I mean, you have people like Allison Fisher. You also have Jeanette Lee's trying to get back out there. I saw her in Aiken back a few months ago. You could tell she got tired easily, but she got out there and she did her best and she played her heart out. And nobody's going to say anything bad about that lady. She is a champion.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of women that are out there playing. I mean, you can look up on Fargo right now.
Beretta's out there too.
But this is the thing. Like, when you talk about it, is it going to be just Europe players versus U.S. players? Because the top, like, if you look at the females in the Fargo, the top like 10 or 15 are all overseas
Right.
player, and they're all over 700.
Right.
So it's a totally different game overseas than it is in the U.S. And it's always been like that, and it always will be like that until stuff changes out here to how they have it being trained out there.
Right.
But you can have a women's Mosconi Cup, and you can have you can have 2 separate and have it like one in the middle of the year, one at the end of the year, like they do. I mean, it's just, there's a lot that they could do, and they could pull a lot of women. Or you can just combine it and just say, top 5 or whatever from each, or even 6. If you want to add more, you can change it up. There's just a lot to do, and that's actually more promoting the pool game as well.
Right, absolutely. I was in I was asked to cover an event in Springfield, Missouri, and they did their own Mosconi Cup style event with several teams, and some of the teams had some of the top ladies in that area. The It gave me a new insight on how difficult it is to put one of these together. I would have
It
never
is.
thought so, but it's
It's a lot of
really
work.
a lot of work.
Yeah,
You know, Matchroom does a fantastic job considering how difficult it is to put one of those events together.
yeah, we do. We do. I mean, like I said, we do the one in Arizona versus Vegas. And we do the one in Arizona where it's West Side versus East Side Town. But it's a one prize. Like everybody enters. The sponsors add money. The pool hall adds money. But there's only a first place. Like there's no money for second place. Like you win, you get the champion trophy, you get your names on it, and
Winner
your
take
bragging
all,
rights for
right?
a year. But it's so much pressure. Like to be in that environment. And I know I'm not in that environment in the Mosconi Cup, but these are just played on one table. You're streaming everything, all the pressure. So I can feel a little bit for how Jeremy Jones is getting in the box finally and playing, you know? So it's a very, very different environment than what anybody is used to.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
You have a lot of people watching you. Every mistake you make, I mean, you saw what Carl did this today.
Yeah.
But they're Europeans. We just let them do that.
Yeah. It just, you know, it is what it is. You know, it happens. It's just that you have to just keep on going.
Right, right. Anyone else have any more questions for the Diva and the NikonKid? Yes, sir, Corbin. Money, money, money. It's always about the money. The dollar signs. The dollar signs. Well, the NikonKid and I will try to come back here tomorrow around 7 o'clock, the same time, unless something interrupts us. But we will definitely make sure we post that on both of our pages and on Nick's fan page. I also have a group page called Inside America's Pool Rooms with Tracy Lerma. So if you guys haven't joined, please do so. Nick's going to plug his page too right quick, and then we're going to go through our sponsors. Go
Yes,
for it, Nick.
I appreciate everything that Inside Pool Magazine is doing for us and letting us get out there and talk about the Mosconi Cup. And even after the Mosconi Cup, everything's going to kind of like we're going to jump on. We're going to talk about big events and all that good stuff. So everything's going to be going and getting everything started. And it just, you know, one step at a time and just bear with us. Like we're just getting into it. And I'm pretty sure every day it'll be a little better. There'll be more to talk about. I hope you guys, you know, jump on and you guys tune in, you guys ask questions and whatnot. We always like to give feedback and we always want feedback as well with everything that we're doing. We're going to have a couple of guest speakers throughout the rest of the Mosconi Cup as well. So just stay tuned and we'll see who else we can get on here and chit chat with us and talk about the lovely game that we love. I thank my sponsors, Q-Tech for one of them, for everything they do and everything they've been doing for me and continue doing for me. They're awesome. And like I said, Shane Van Boeing, let's get it going for the Team USA. My good guy, Mike Gwynn, he's been with me since the beginning. Realty One Group, the guy does everything with houses. And Rick Smith, you might see him out in Vegas for a little while, or he was going for BCA and everything for a good. Takes great pictures, does it all out there. Melina Mike, Mr. Knit, my man, he if you don't have him on your Facebook, man, you guys need him on your Facebook. Look him up. He knows everything. He gives you all the information. Also, his other page is Windows Open. Yes, and he advertises and he shows and gives you guys all the information that you guys want on this game that we love. Another one is One PKT. Look out for him. Melina Mike, Joey Ryan, my boy Travis. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. And I just hope that this all continues and we can just keep on growing the sport that we love.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. And We will see you guys all tomorrow. Hopefully, a little bit sooner than later.
And maybe we can get some of these bugs out, and we don't sound so lame.
Yeah, and we can get some more people on. Maybe some people that are actually at the Mosconi Cup and talk about the environment and everything that they've been through. So, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like I said, share away. Stay tuned. Follow our pages, and we will be sharing tomorrow. So go Team USA. That's all I have to say.
This is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine. They call me the Diva. I'm going to get in just a slight bit on why they call me the Diva, and then I'm going to go down my list of sponsors. I was given the name the Diva in New Orleans, Louisiana this year. I was down there covering the Buffaloes event. I went down to downtown New Orleans with a group of women. Julie Cone. It's Julie Melman Cone. Also Ming, the Empress Ing, and two other ladies. We were shopping, and Ming walks past a t-shirt that said Diva across the front. She giggled and she said, "This is your new name." And that's how I got my name, guys. Nothing special to it. I had on a dress that looked like a wedding gown, and I had a lady ask me for my dress. She was going to pay me for it. And I'm like, I can't walk down Bourbon Street naked. And, she goes, "You need this shirt. It says Diva across the front." I said, "Great."
Perfect. That works out.
Anyway, so I'm going to run down that list of sponsors. Enterprise Car Rentals. Guys, if you're needing a car, if you're traveling anywhere and you need a vehicle to get you back and forth, or you're flying out and you need a vehicle, get on Enterprise Car Rentals, and I will post that link up on Inside Pool Mag. For you guys, you'll get a small discount, and that also helps me and Nick. Also, Hilton brand hotels and Marriott brand hotels. They've been making sure the Diva has a fantastic place to stay and a safe place to stay. Also, Poolholic Gear, Mr. Ditmar, Steve Ditmar, I appreciate everything you do for me, sir. He's been keeping this Diva dressed to success in Poolholic Gear. All right, guys, we are going to sign out, and I'm probably forgetting somebody, and I don't want anyone to be upset. This is just a rough crash on here. So, guys, we're definitely going to get better. So if we're a little bit lame tonight, we're always going to have a crash and burn on the first startup. So we will definitely get better. Make sure you guys tune in and come with those questions. We will make sure that we let you get in on any of this conversation. And in the future, will we be pulling one of you out of the chat to join us on the live stream? So keep vigilant, and you guys cheer your teams on. Either it's Go Euro or it's Go USA. Either way.
USA all the way. Let's go.
All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks, Nick. I'll see you later.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.